Okay, greetings and welcome to another BZLive Live. Hope everyone is well this Sunday, the 3rd of October. Here we are looking at a couple of things this evening. This is the 5-minute countdown, so we won't properly get started until the timer runs out. I'm just going to check my audio, bear with me 1 second, people. Yeah, the audio sounds alright. Okay, I do have a video to play in with. It's a tribute. I'll play it and then we'll talk about it, and the link to the original video will be in the live chat and in the description if you're watching this post live stream. If you're watching it as a pre-record, then it will be in the live chat, but yeah, we'll start the video shortly. We will be looking at, among other things, if anyone's got any particular subjects they want to look at. As I say, I don't follow the mainstream media particularly, so I do hear a lot of it from you guys, putting comments on, suggesting we look at things, and you always come up with great suggestions, so please share any thoughts in the live chat. You'd be most welcome to hear. Okay, I'm going to start with this is our playing video this evening. A tribute to the YouTuber Terrible Tim, who I hear has passed over the last, quite recently. I think it was only over the weekend that the news broke. So, yeah, condolences to his friends and family. And, yeah, he's a very popular YouTuber by all accounts. So, yeah, this is one of his videos. If you're not hugely familiar, I will put a link in the live chat. Alright, I will be back when the timer counts down. I'll catch up with you soon.
Who is Terrible Tim?
1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. The government and the media are helping us. Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Sorry, my friend, I cannot shake your hand. Social distancing's the new law of the land. Sorry, my friend, I wish that I could help you. And the grocery stores have run out of food. The government and the media are helping us. Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Can you dig it? Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Can you dig it? Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Can you dig it? Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Can you dig it? Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Can you dig it? Shut down the world so no one gets a cold. Can you dig it?
Okay, that was Terrible Tim. I'm just about to put a link in the live chat if anyone wants to see it for themselves and check out the channel. Yeah, he wasn't a YouTuber I hugely followed. I know, certainly heard of him. He made a lot of audio music videos, poking fun at... Oh, hang on. Yeah, bear with me while I just put a link in the live chat if anyone wants to follow. Check out Terrible Tim's channel, or that particular song we just played in with. Shut down the world. Right, yes, if anyone is tuning in and wants to say hi in the live chat, always good to see who's listening. And if anyone's got any examples of gaslighting, it is something we'll be looking at. I mean, it comes up everywhere in mainstream media. And I'm also open to anyone suggesting subjects that we could look at this evening. I'm going to share my screen in a minute as we look. Actually, tell you what, just before we do that, I'll share my screen and we'll look at Terrible Tim's channel. He, as I say, he was a pretty popular. I'll put a link now to his channel in our live chat. We will be getting started soon. Terrible Tim channel. Yeah, by all accounts, he passed away this fairly recently. Susan Byrne, thanks for joining. First again, this is getting boring. Just switched over from watching the eruption in La Palma. Quite spectacular. I've not heard of any. Is that a recent eruption, Susan? I mean, is it happening live? But yeah, thanks for switching over to us. Much appreciated. Yeah, so is that like a breaking news story? Or is it something that happened more recently? Yeah, so this is a link I've just shared for Terrible Tim. Some of his stuff was, I enjoyed his music. I mean, the song Shut Down the World so No One Gets a Cold was hilarious in my opinion and summed things up perfectly. As I say, gaslighting, what is it? What is an example of it? I've come across a couple of news stories. Let's look up the official definition of gaslighting. And see what it tells us. I have made a video on this before. We didn't go too in depth into it. ZZ or ZZ. I'm a nurse in the UK. Don't want the jab. I have to earn money. Concerned. Yeah, ZZ. I think you're in a situation that an awful lot of people find themselves in. You have my sympathy. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm not sure how. Yeah, I mean, I would never advise anyone directly about medical interventions. Ultimately, we all have to make our own choices on that. But I can totally understand if you say you don't want something, because yeah, it's a tricky one, ZZ. But ZZ. But thank you for sharing the sharing your situation. And I mean, how are things at the minute? If I know some people working not for the NHS as such, but I know people working in those positions, working in like that industry as it were, and they're getting pressured left, right and centre to take it. Although most, from what I was aware of, there was, from a team of about 20 people, I think about 4 or 5 of them declined. They originally said they weren't going to do it, and that number has now gone down to 1. One person's holding out, and they're still there. They've gone to a union, hoping that will be of help to them. Personally, I'm not sure how much help unions are in these situations, but we'll see. Susan says the eruption was in the Canary Islands, about 15 days ongoing. Yes, actually, I have heard about that one. Linda Max says it's when you gradually dim the lights but tell your wife it's not happening to drive her crazy. Yeah, thanks, Linda. That is a good example. it's brilliant example actually. And David says the BBC have done that to the population for 18 months now, and says hello to Bobby and everyone. Absolutely, we are. See, to be honest, I think gaslighting's been going on for a lot longer than just the last 18 months. We will have a quick look at the definition. Bear with me. Right. Okay, gaslighting is an insidious form of manipulation. I hope everyone can see the screen all right. And psychological control. Victims of gaslighting are deliberately and systematically fed false information. Where have we received that recently? Well, that leads them to question what they know to be true, often about themselves. They may end up doubting their memory, their perception, and even their own sanity. Over time, a gaslighter's manipulation can grow more complex and potent, making it increasingly difficult for the victim to see the truth. Right, this is quite an unrelated, well, it may on the surface appear unrelated, but check out just some of the language used in this story. It's a sporting one. Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool manager, says vaccine is not a limit on freedom. Again, that sentence in and of itself kind of doesn't make sense really, but we'll read on. Now, this is one of the typical people that has no right to make any advice or suggestion on any medical treatment or intervention for anyone. They've got absolutely no right to say it. If you want to hear about football tactics, yeah, we'll come to you, Jurgen Klopp. But, okay, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says he does not understand why some people refuse the vaccine. Check this out. Okay, Jurgen Klopp's wearing a Liverpool cap. He's wearing a Nike Liverpool cap, a black one. Imagine if he came out and says he doesn't understand why everyone else isn't wearing a black Nike Liverpool cap. Well, not everyone shares your opinion, your fashion sense, your desire for medical intervention. Not everyone is as trusting as you are of the National Health Service and the pharmaceutical industry. Anyway, let's carry on. There have been concerns about the rate of vaccination in the Premier League, with fewer than half of players jabbed at most clubs. Fair play to them. Glad to hear it. But Klopp says 99% of his players have been. Meanwhile, Health Secretary Sajid Javid said it's disappointing. At least 5 members of the England squad are reportedly refusing to be vaccinated. Again, this sentence, refusing to be vaccinated, it's a kind of form of gaslighting. It's almost as if acceptance is default, and if you just want to carry on living without using a particular product, you are instantly setting yourself up for, well, you're disappointing someone just by doing. Yeah, it's difficult to put into words, but anyway, right. No one cares what Health Secretary Sajid Javid has to say. His comments come after The Sun reported 5 players had not had the jab, despite organisers of the next year's Qatar World Cup planning to ban all unvaccinated players. See, that's great in my opinion. I think this is kind of where the spit will hit the fan, you could say. This is where, I mean, I imagine most high-profile Premier League football players are on such a large amount of money that they will do anything they're told. But if it is genuinely the case that only vaccinated players will be allowed to go to the World Cup. Well, I think it would just make interesting viewing if like England's top players or a country's top players are refusing. Because they're big money, these players, having particular footballers at particular events. Apparently, back in was it Brazil or the World Cup that was held in the United States, and there was a Brazilian player called Ronaldo, not the Cristiano Ronaldo, but the other Ronaldo with big goofy teeth, fake goofy teeth. And yeah, apparently he was injured and they doped him up because he was so important to be on the field in the final that they put him on. So right, let's see. And again, the language this article uses. Where were we? I read it somewhere. Okay, I would just appeal, this is Jurgen Klopp saying, I would just appeal to these people, whether they're footballers, whatever it is, that the vaccines are working. Help protect yourself and protect those around you. Now, of course, again, this is Javid talking, sorry, not Jurgen Klopp. Despite it claiming to be an article about Jurgen Klopp, it's mostly about the health secretary, but whatever. This is complete rubbish. Protecting others around you. That's like suggesting that if I've got a headache, I take a paracetamol, that me taking a paracetamol is going to cure other people's headaches. Of course it doesn't. Phil Wright, greetings. Thanks for joining us. I will have a look. David says, I don't believe any sports star has taken the jab. It's all a front for the public to take it, same as film stars and music stars. They're false idols. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I do have some, I'm suspicious of some footballers. I don't think they're anything, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that half the footballers you hear about are just made up characters. Anyway, back to the gaslighting. No, I don't disagree with you, David. I'm not saying every single footballer you hear about in the Premier League is a fictional character, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the really big name ones are. Some of them, anyway, here's a big one for me. What's his name? Mohammed Salah. Check out this guy. His hair looks fake, for one thing. Looks like he's wearing a wig in half the pictures. And his nose looks really weird as well. I don't know, he just doesn't look like a genuine person. Looks bloody strange, if you ask me. He's one of the most high-profile footballers in the country. But I wouldn't be surprised to find out that his ridiculous hair is a wig. Marouane Fellaini was another one. Marouane Fellaini. We will get back to Jurgen and his ball spit comments. Oh, by the way, there is... here's another guy who I reckon's just wearing a wig and who knows what else. Who has hair like that? People do have hair like that, fair enough, but... right, bear with me. Go on then. Scrum. Sorry, just had to let one of our cats out. By the way, I may be called away. If I am, please forgive me, I won't be long. Anyway, back to the gaslighting of Jurgen Klopp. Let's see. I would just... Right, this is still Javid, right. They've made a conscious choice. It's disappointing. Of course it is. Why is it disappointing? If people have got every right to decline a particular treatment, if it's not for them, unless this guy's got some ulterior motive, some vested interest in everyone taking this particular thing, why would he care? And it's rubbish to say that... Again, this is a form of gaslighting. We all know that taking a vaccine, for example, protects you. It doesn't protect anyone else. That's complete crap. Particularly as, even going by their own rhetoric, you can still spread it and you can still get ill. They are role models in society. People, especially young people, I think will look up to them, and they should recognise that the difference that can make in terms of encouraging others. If they do have any high-profile footballers that are declining and the name comes out, I wouldn't be too surprised to hear that these footballers get very ill all of a sudden. Yeah, Klopp said he has not had to convince any players to be vaccinated yet. The German says he was jabbed to protect him, not just himself, but all the people around me. Don't talk crap. I understand why that is a limitation of freedom, he said. I know, I don't understand why that is a limitation of freedom, because if it is, then not being allowed to drink and drive is a limitation of freedom as well. But we accept that. The difference being is that we're not born drunk, are we? I mean, it's not like you have to take a treatment to stop yourself being drunk. You don't have to take any particular medical intervention to make yourself healthy. I mean, good enough to drive. It's ridiculous. So that is a false comparative. Anyway, so yeah, it's like when people say you wear a seatbelt when you go in a car. Well, you're not born with a seatbelt round you, are you? Whereas we're all born with perfectly functioning immune systems, and if we allow pharmaceutical companies to force their products onto us, then all of a sudden we become reliant on their vile products, and that is unfortunately how a lot of medicine and medical treatment work. Dan Sewell, greetings, thanks for joining us. David, you must be selfish. Well, no, it's ridiculous. It's like saying drink driving's selfish. I mean, of course it is, but as I say, we're not born drunk. You're not. It's rubbish to say that not buying their treatment is making you ill, right? Again, check this out. This week it was revealed that the Premier League is considering whether to reward clubs whose bullshit vaccination rates are high. In an email to top flight clubs, the Premier League said only 7 clubs' squads are more than 50% fully vaccinated. That particular set of words makes no sense. How can you be 50% fully vaccinated? It's almost like they want to force this word into people's consciousness, fully vaccinated. You can't be 50% fully vaccinated. That's like me saying I'm 50% dead. Well, no, you're either dead or you're not dead. Yeah, he 50% killed me. Well, what does that mean? Right, I think we can say... Oh, hang on. On Friday it was announced that the Premier League players will be allowed to travel to their red list nation to represent their countries, but only if they're fully poisoned. I think we can say that we have at least 99% vaccinated, added Klopp. Now, who is he to even... I know he isn't naming anyone particularly, but people's medical... Why isn't he telling us how many of his team has been treated for sexually transmitted diseases, for example? But he says he can't remember talking to a player and convincing him why he should, because he's not a doctor. Then why are you even talking about this? What I would give, like in a lot of other situations, would be my advice, but it wasn't necessary. Yeah, typical gaslighting, trying to make you believe that not being vaccinated is the same as driving when you're drunk. Absolute trash, but yeah, the usual crud. Right, I did come across this on Twitter as well. Another odd story. Where are we? Right, Merck, whoever Merck are, Merck's COVID-19 pill cuts risk of death and hospitalisation by 50% in studies. Now, what that means, right, German pharmaceutical company Merck & Co. Said on Friday that findings from a recent study showed that its experimental, at least they're being honest, antiviral pill, molnupiravir, reduced hospitalizations and deaths by half in people that had been infected. Meaning, if it's only just cut it in half, then that means people still went into hospital and still died after taking this experimental pill. Now, could it not be that the reason they ended up in hospital was because they'd just taken a pill? The company's... keep doing that. The company says it will soon ask health officials around the world to authorise its use. If approved, it would become the first oral antiviral treatment for COVID-19. The study results, which were released by the company, have not been peer-reviewed. Okay, quite a lot going on there. Do you want to just watch this 2-minute video? It sums up pretty much what I said, but gives me a moment to rest my voice. Although you do have to listen to it through the speakers, unfortunately. Okay, bear with.
It's being considered as a potential breakthrough in medical circles. Merck on Friday said its experimental antiviral COVID-19 medication reduces the chance of hospitalization or death for patients at risk of severe disease by around 50%.
Meaning 50% of the people that would have died still died. That's basically what they're saying. So people still died and were hospitalised after taking this experimental treatment. They'll try and tell you that these people died because they were infected with BS19, but could it actually be that this experimental treatment was what killed them?
Authorized, Merck's drug known as molnupiravir would be the first oral antiviral medication on the market. Pfizer and Roche are both working on antiviral pills as well. So far, only antibody cocktails that are administered intravenously are approved for treating COVID-19. The global Merck...
No, that really sounds lovely, doesn't it? A cocktail... Well, what was he said? Sorry, hang on.
Antiviral pills as well.
Ooh.
Known as molnupiravir would be the first oral antiviral medication on the market. Pfizer and Roche are both working on antiviral pills as well. So far, only antibody cocktails that are administered...
Antibody cocktails? Oh, yes, please, sign me up for some of that.
...intravenously are approved for treating COVID-19. The global Merck trial involved 775 patients. Interim results showed 29 days after taking the pill every 12 hours for 5 days. Patients given the pill were 50% less likely to die or be hospitalized compared to those given the placebo. In another piece of upbeat news, Merck says viral sequencing done so far showed the pill is effective against all variants of the coronavirus, including the highly transmissible Delta variant. Merck and partner Ridgeback Biotherapeutics plan to seek U.S. emergency use authorization for the pill as soon as possible and will submit applications to regulators worldwide. The drug maker said it doesn't know how long the FDA will take to review the drug. The company did not detail side effects, but did say men enrolled in the trial had to abstain from sex or use contraception, and women of...
Whoa, what was that? They refrained from talking about side effects, but run that past us again.
Take to review the drug. The company did not detail side effects, but...
They did not detail side effects, but...
did say men enrolled in the trial had...
Men involved in the trial...
abstain from sex or use contraception.
Had to abstain from sex or use contraceptives. Why? Has their semen all of a sudden become toxic? Are they likely to impregnate someone and some kind of horrible mutated human's going to be born? Is that what they're telling us? And is this really any better than an injection? That's, one injection every 12 weeks or however many they want to force on you. They're saying people should take this tablet every 12 hours. Sounds horrible.
And women of childbearing age could not be pregnant and had to use birth control.
Women who were pregnant could not... Hang on, say that again. Run that past us again.
But did say men enrolled in the trial had to abstain from sex or use contraception, and women of childbearing age could not be pregnant and had to use birth control.
So anyone taking this treatment, which is every 12 hours take one of these tablets, I'm not sure how long these courses go on for, but it sounds like this tablet and pregnancies don't mix very well. I wonder why.
Expects to produce 10 million courses of the treatment by the end of the year and has a contract with the U.S. government to supply 1.7 million courses at $700 per course.
What? Hang on. I am quite sure they've just said that the FDA have not approved it. They've said these findings have not been peer reviewed, and yet what did he just say about the US government?
Expects to produce 10 million courses of the treatment by the end of the year.
Hang on, start again, sorry. Let's go back.
Or use contraception, and women of childbearing age could not be pregnant and had to use birth control.
First, before we play this next bit, greetings to Mudlark Digging at the Thames and Linda Mack. If I've not already said hello to you, thanks for joining us. Right. So bear in mind, the FDA have not approved this. The research hasn't been peer reviewed. There's no proof that this is safe to use. So what's the United States government just done?
Expects to produce 10 million courses of the treatment by the end of the year and has a contract with the U.S. government to supply 1.7 million courses at $700 per course.
Right, let's get our calculator out. 1.7 million. Where's my calculator so tiny? Does it not get any bigger? No, okay. So 1.7 million courses at $700 each. How much is this company whose product has not even been, cleared safe to use? $1,190,000,000 that they've earned already before they've even got this vial treatment through testing. Wow.
Shares of Merck surged in midday Friday trading. Vaccine makers like Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna slumped on the news.
So, bear in mind, Moderna and all the other ones have been earning money hand over fist lately. But now they've got to take a side step back and let this company, Merck, have a load of public money. It's a complete con. An experimental antiviral pill developed by Merck could, not saying it does, could half the chances of dying or being hospitalised. Linda Mack says 10 days of treatment. And Mudlark says, is that the tablets? Yes, you're absolutely right. Apparently, they've now come up with a tablet. Just going back to my earlier comment, Phil Wright says his hair is legit. He had it cut short and looked weird. Phil Wright, he always looks weird. But fair enough. I'm jumping from one subject to another, so forgive me, but maybe I should have read this earlier. Leo Sayer had hair like, this is Marwan Fellaini, I believe we're talking about. No, Mohammed Salah. He's had it cut now, is he? And some suggest that a lot of footballers are trans. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Anyway, we will go back to the Merck pill, because something a bit odd comes up in a minute, believe it or not, if it hasn't been strange enough. One thing I will say, if you've ever seen the treatment for HIV, the name of it, that is, this, they put the word Ravir at the end of it. So whether it's, I guess it's whatever's got anything that treats your immune system probably gets that name. Anyway, an experimental antiviral pill developed by Merck could have the chance of dying or being hospitalised for those most at risk of contracting severe BS19, according to the data that experts hailed as a potential breakthrough in how the virus is treated. Okay, so people are still dying and being hospitalised on this medication. Can they really be sure it isn't the medication that is causing that? Where are we? Right, if it gets authorization. Molnupiravir, which is designed to introduce errors into the genetic code of the virus, would be the first oral antiviral medication for COVID-19. What happens if you don't have these? If you don't have this virus in your body, what then does this thing start introducing errors into? What about into your own genetic code? Is that possible? Merck and partner Ridgeback Biotherapeutics said they plan to seek US emergency use authorization for the pill as soon as possible and to make regulatory applications worldwide. An oral antiviral that can impact hospitalization risk to such a degree would be game-changing. So nothing they've already given us is game-changing. Why would you then force people to use it? Current treatment options include Gilead Science Inc.'s infused antiviral remdesivir and generic steroid dexamethasone, both of which are generally only given once a patient has already been hospitalized. This is going to change the dialogue around how we manage BS19, Chief Merck Executive Robert Davies told Reuters. Existing treatments are cumbersome and logistically challenging to administer. Cumbersome? Okay. And yet everyone in the world is being heavily pressurized into taking it. Now, this next treatment, is this an example of gaslighting? It doesn't make sense, but listen to it. The results from phase 3 trial, which sent Merck shares up 9%, was so strong that the study is being stopped early at the recommendation of outside monitors. What? Okay, that trial went so well, we want you to stop. Pack up altogether. Well, no, it's going well. Surely we're going to carry on. Nope, you have to pack up. Why? That doesn't make sense. That's gaslighting. That is not what they do when a study is going well. They keep going. I mean, the company's shares are going up. Why would they call a halt to the study? It reminds me of a story I heard where apparently the SARS-CoV-1, when they were originally trying to find a cure for SARS-CoV-1, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the common cold. I don't know about that. But anyway, SARS-CoV-1 treatment, they halted because this was animal trials, because all the animals died. And for some reason, it just rings a bell. The results were so strong that the study is being stopped early at the recommendation of outside monitors. Why? Are they really saying that, we don't need to carry on with those studies anymore? Anyway, shares of Atea Pharmaceuticals, which is developing a similar treatment, were up 21% on the news. Moderna were off more than 10%, while Pfizer were down less than 1%. Jefferies analyst Michael Yee says investors believe people will be less afraid of BS and less inclined to get the vaccine less inclined to get vaccines if there is a simple pill that can treat it. Less afraid of COVID and less inclined to get vaccines. That means they won't want it. Okay, whatever. Pfizer and Swiss drug maker Roche are also racing to develop an easy-to-administer antiviral pill for BS19. For now, only antibody cocktails, what a lovely name, that have to be given intravenously are approved for non-hospitalized patients. White House response coordinator Jeff Zients said on Friday that now here we go, are they giving away a little bit here? Molnupiravir is a potential additional tool to protect people from the worst outcomes, but added that vaccination remains far and away our best tool. Are they going to bring this tablet through only to find out that it's being jabbed every 6 months is still a requirement? Right, a planned interim analysis of 775 patients in Merck's study looked at hospitalizations or death among people at risk of severe disease. It found 7.3% of those given molnupiravir twice a day for 5 days were hospitalised, and none had died by 29 days after treatment. That's compared to a hospitalisation rate of 14.1% for the placebo. And what about deaths? Oh yeah, there were 8 deaths in the placebo group. Antiviral treatments that can be taken at home to keep people with 19 out of hospitals are critically needed. Wow. What a lovely story. Anyway, yeah, I saw that. I thought, again, even this is gaslighting people. I also came across our favourite story. Our favourite number. Where was it? This is Italy. Now work this out. Hang on, bear with me 1 second actually. I just have to hit the mute button. I apologise, I will be looking at the live chat in a sec as well. Right, excuse me, apologies for that. Right, let's catch up on the live chat before we look at this. But here we go. Italy reports 33 coronavirus deaths on Sunday. Surely they're talking about last week, because Sunday is only 10:15 on Sunday evening. How can they already have all the numbers ready? I mean, this story came out at 3:56, and they've already got 33 deaths. I mean, what are these numbers already pre-planned, predetermined? I mean, they're not talking about last week, I can tell you that much. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Linda Max says, if someone is dying, let's give them a placebo. Exactly. Mudlark says, people will have Facebook profile frames with I've had my pill on it. Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Linda says, I know an antiviral that's cheap and pleasantly apple flavoured. Okay. Oh, cider, brilliant. Is that an antiviral? Linda Mack says, you're right, the jab is their new god. You're absolutely correct. That is what everyone is putting their faith in. Well, that is what the general public are being forced to put their faith in. Some people may not believe in it, but most are just peer pressured into going along with it. Susan is talking about the treatment that we mentioned. The animal died after treatment when introduced back into the environment from other diseases because their immune systems couldn't cope. Thanks for that information, Susan. I do remember hearing that I know they had to stop treatment for one reason or another. So yeah, gaslighting. You never have to look far. I mean, it is basically any story that makes you question your sanity or makes you kind of believe what, anything that makes you question your own understanding of reality, basically. So, where else might you find this sort of stuff? If you ask me, it is everywhere. For example, Helen Mirren, for example. Anyone that looks at this person would be hard pushed to say, well, right, if this person was kicked out of a drag act for being too masculine, you wouldn't be surprised, would you? Of course, a Hollywood actor. Dame, of course, all pantomime dames. What are they generally? Helen Mirren looked sensational as she donned a monochrome trouser suit in L'Oreal Paris. So again, is that what looking sensational looks like? No disrespect. I mean, Helen Mirren, no doubt, is a great actor, but yeah, you can see where she has had her tracheal shave. And I bet her face is full of scars. But again, here's another example of gaslighting where you're looking at, well, yeah, everything tells you're looking at a man, for example, and yet you have to believe that it's female. If you go on Instagram, celebrities constantly giving you nonsense. Robin Max, greetings and thanks for joining us. You apologise for being late and for missing the last few weeks. Absolutely no need in the world to apologise. Mudlark says eventually they will probably tell people to get microchips. There's a company called DAFTA that has developed anti-COVID microchips. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. We could look into that in a minute. Linda Max says, are they saying new pills help people who are fully vaccinated? That's a very good point, Linda, actually, if we go back to that story. Because they don't actually say that. What it looks like... Hang on, where were we? What it actually looks like is it will be used alongside... Yeah, I think it is, what, as you say, it's going to be for people that are fully vaccinated. It won't be that you'll just be allowed to... I mean, that's how the headline looks. Merck pill, a huge preventing deaths. You're absolutely right. It's just going to be another thing for people to take on top of their 6 monthly shot plus 6 monthly shot plus boosters or whatever it is. Okay. David says it must be happening to me because I'm questioning my sanity as all my friends and family have taken the jab. Well, I did just see this link here on Reuters. A few sceptical US hospital workers choose dismissal over vaccine. I'm not sure if ZZ or ZZ, sorry, is still with us. A nurse in the UK. Could be, I'm not sure what this guy's got to say or how long this video is. Let's see, I was only 1 minute 37. I am thinking of going to an interval. Actually, if Robin Max is with us, I do want to thank him. He's been sharing some great information with me on Skype. Yeah, some really great videos. I am tempted to play some of them, but I don't have them immediately to hand, so thanks very much, Robin. Linda Mac, horse paste is apple flavoured. Gotcha. Robbo says it's worth having a look at the weekly PHE BS19 surveillance reports. The data shows for all ages groups over 14, the vaccines have negative efficacy. Yeah, I mean, all you have to do, as far as I know, is look back at the numbers for this time last year. I know back in the summer that numbers for people not vaccinated, I mean, before we had the vaccine, the numbers were lower than they are now, which should raise alarm bells for anyone. But Robert, if you have a link to anything, I mean, actually, Public Health England, we'll have a look at that in a minute. I do wish to take a couple of minute interval. I'll probably be streaming till about 11 p.m. this evening. Right, I don't quite know what we're watching here. It's 1 minute 37. I'm going to be back in a sec. I'll leave you in the capable hands of this clown. Hang on.
I do worry about the consequences of the moment we're in, the fact that now vaccination is something that's dividing us culturally and politically.
With the U.S. COVID-19 death toll now surpassing...
Okay, we will play this just because it's kind of relevance. This is a story about people in America that would rather be dismissed than take the jab. And yeah, I say fair play to them. Well done, you know. It's not an easy decision to make. I mean, I don't know if anyone tuning in this evening works for the NHS. Am I right in thinking that the NHS do require people to have certain vaccines, not necessarily anything to do with BS19, but other vaccines? If you know the answer to that, I'd appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to play this. 1 minute 37. I will be back.
I do worry about the consequences of the moment we're in, the fact that now vaccination is something that's dividing us culturally and politically.
With the U.S. COVID-19 death toll now surpassing 700,000, the highest of any country, the federal government is leaning on vaccine mandates by individual states and businesses to help stop the spread. Former Food and Drug Administration Chief Scott Gottlieb on CBS's Face the Nation Sunday said mandates at the local rather than federal level would help depoliticize the issue.
I worry that going forward, we're going to see vaccination rates decline as this becomes more of a political football, and we see people, literally governors, running against vaccine and vaccine mandates in the next presidential cycle. That's going to be deleterious to the public health generally.
New York and California are among the states that have required vaccinations for healthcare workers, with California also becoming the first state to mandate vaccines for school children, which could go into effect for kids 12 to 17 as early as January.
Are you going to mandate it for school kids as well?
No chance.
Why?
No chance.
One governor who's pushing back on that is West Virginia's Jim Justice, who also appeared on Face the Nation Sunday.
As governor, you mandate, we looked, measles, mumps, rubella, tetanus, polio, other vaccines. Why won't you put COVID on that list?
I truly believe that the mandates only divide us and only divide us more.
Justice added, however, that he does encourage parents to vaccinate their kids. Some 70 million eligible Americans remain unvaccinated.
Oh, that was good timing. Just got back. Okay, yeah, first of all, go to the live chat. Susie realised no vaccines are being pushed for the NHS. Yeah, okay, that's interesting, because I mean, I thought before any of this came out, I thought I had heard that if you wanted to work for the NHS, you had to take certain vaccines, but yeah, I guess that's not the case. I'm glad to hear it. So really, to say that anyone in any job has to have any treatment has to be unprecedented. We will have a quick look at something I just caught sight of, if I can find it in this video, where they were giving someone a shot, and for whatever reason,
New York
they
care workers
cut away at the last second. Oh, what do we think of this? Zapping people with... I mean, I know it's just taking a temperature, but could that cause problems every day, having a laser thermometer zapped into your forehead? Right, I do want to find the clip. I mean, yeah, these poor kids having this forced on them. Right, perhaps I need to go back a bit, actually. I want to see the bit where they were just about to inject someone and then they cut. Here we are. Perfect. Right. For whatever reason, I believe they cut the film just at the point of sticking the plunger in. Yeah, see, they swapped it. 1 minute it was one person, and then it went to someone completely different. What was all that about? Right. Yes, Susie realised. Thanks for sharing. Robbo's sent us a link. I will go to that. RJ, greetings and thanks for joining us. What's your predictions for this winter? Are you referring specifically to BS19 or just in general? If we're talking in general, how long until... Oh, actually, yeah, who knows what's gonna come in the next this winter in terms of once flu season comes up. I was saying a couple of weeks back, was it possible all this BS19 talk was going to sort of gradually go away, and that we might start hearing about how terrible flu is again? But the way it's going, perhaps, yeah, I believe they're going to hijack flu season once again. Of course they will. Anyone going into hospital with the flu will, of course, be a BS19 patient. Anyone going in with pneumonia will, of course, be a BS19 case. RJ, I'd be interested what your predictions are, or anyone else. Robbo says the key data is in the last two columns on the right as it compares per 100,000 people. Right, we will, let me just get that information up. 1 second. Here we go. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Robbo. Right, let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. Go to page 18, figure 2A. I'm not hugely familiar with looking at all of monitoring the effectiveness. Right, page 18 you said. I will zoom out a minute. Right, how'd you get to page 18? Okay. Right, I will try my best to read this. Okay. Deaths, is this the correct one? Right, page 18, figure 2A. What are we on here? Figure 2A. Rates per 100,000 people by vaccination status from week 35 to 38 of 21. Vaccinated with at least 2 doses against unvaccinated people. Susie confirms that you're on about CV vaccine. They do ask you to get vaccinated for other things at the start, I'm sure. Yeah, I knew a guy and he worked for an agency and he wanted to do some shifts for the NHS or at a hospital, and I'm pretty sure because again, this was before this happened, probably around when BS19 was all kicking off. And I remember saying to him about, talk to the nurse trying to give you the vaccine. Ask her if it was if they used aborted fetal tissues to grow the vaccine. And he laughed at me. I think he thought he was joking. I think he thought I wasn't being serious. But anyway, I was. Right. Yeah, massive thanks to Robbo for sharing this. I just want to make sure we are looking at the same thing. Mudlark says the government wants everyone to be miserable for Christmas. Well, believe it or not, that isn't anything new. If ever you watch, many people are, they have their thoughts and their moods are set by soap operas. And if ever you watch soap operas, they always have really miserable, depressing storylines at Christmas. And that's just to get into people's head. Gaslight them a bit. Right, let's check we're looking at the correct page here. Right. Per 100,000 people by vaccination status, cases presenting to emergency care within 28 days of a positive test, resulting in overnight inpatient admissions. So, I see what you're saying, right. So this is per 100,000 people, under 18s. Most of the people going in, 2,000 out of every 100,000 are unvaccinated. But of course that might just be that under 18s haven't taken it. 18 to 29-year-olds, most people going into hospital, 500 out of 100,000 were double vaxxed, compared to probably about 800 unvaccinated. Then as we get to 30 to 39, you see that number gets a lot closer. And then people aged 40 to 49, over 1,000 people, I mean, I hope I'm reading this correctly. These are cases presented to emergency. Is that right? Hang on. Sorry, bear with me. Or is this the number of deaths? Rates per 100,000 by vaccination status. So yeah, once, as you absolutely said, so if you are vaccinated, then if over 49, you are more likely to catch COVID, be a positive case, than if unvaccinated. This blows the basis of vaccine passports out of the water. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The 30 to 39 age group, again, possibly down to the fact that there aren't as many, maybe there's more unvaccinated people in these lower age groups, whereas you're absolutely right. That is pretty damning evidence to suggest that being double vaccinated is of no use to you whatsoever. Cases presented to emergency care resulting in overnight inpatients. This is where they'll obviously try and say that people with 2 shots. Interesting info. Deaths within 28 days of a positive. The numbers are so low that vaccine impact on proportion of population with antibodies. Yeah, that's does make for very interesting reading. And Robbo, I thank you for sharing that. Let's just have another look at the live chat. Linda Mack says other vaccines are different. They are not mRNA vaccines. No, you're absolutely correct. Fair point. David, they keep saying dark winter, so I'm guessing that means lights out power cuts. Yeah, very. Actually, yeah. Fuel shortages we're hearing about, although as we looked at the other week, there is no fuel shortages. It's logistics. It's a logistical problem. They don't have they don't apparently have the drivers to supply the fuel. And of course, as we said last week, people are now looking to electric cars. Is that going to be people going to all be pushed to buy electric cars only to find out the electricity gets cut? So, David, you could have a point there. Phil Wright, 33. Is that a reference to Italy? Or, hang on. Where were we? Yeah, Italy report. Bear in mind, it's only Sunday's not even finished yet. Before 4 p.m. this afternoon, Italy had already reported all their numbers for cases on Sunday. Absolute mental. Okay, let's have another look. Dan Sewell, greetings and thanks for joining us. Right, Robin Max, the graph shows more cases in unvaccinated than vaccines in all groups of 40 years of age. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Robbo. I had a look at what I was looking at. Yeah, very good point. Once you hit over the age of 40, then if you're vaccinated, based on these numbers, you are more likely to get ill. Now, what I personally would be interested to see is the numbers compared to last year. I don't know. I thought that was how they did all these numbers. That to give it a bit of a context, they would compare things to last year. Of course, they don't probably want to do that. Yeah, these are... I'm going to put a link... Oh, actually, Robbo's already put a link in the live chat for where you can find this for yourself. Yeah, it makes for interesting reading, definitely. Population impact. Yeah, but it's interesting that, as far as I can see, they don't show you any info compared to the previous year. Right. Okay, let's see. I want to see if I'm wondering earlier on if someone mentioned. David earlier on mentioned the Marburg virus being mentioned by the WHO to put even more fear into the public. To be honest, the Marburg, I'm not familiar with that. Let's have a look. Marburg virus. Transmission. Initially, human this was, you say, mentioned, by the World Health Organization. I thought you meant by the WHO, as in the musical group, the WHO. But is this the latest thing they're going to try and frighten people with? The long-term effects of Marburg virus diseases aren't as well known as those of other viruses like Ebola. This could be due, at least in part, to the high fatality rate in some outbreaks and the rarity of the disease. It's difficult to study health issues after someone has recovered from a virus infection when so few people do. Very well put. 9 days ago, 13 days ago, the school that created a city for the blind, right? Guinea's Marburg outbreak declared. Actually, this does ring a bell now. I've looked at it. A virus is hemorrhagic fever virus. Okay, we are tonight talking about gaslighting. Again, now when one of the big... Yeah, for example, when a side effect of the vaccine, for example, is something like blood clots, what the press will then try and do is make you believe that you're more likely to get these things without the vaccine than with it. Teenager 15, well, that's hardly worth saying either, dies with, it's almost like double emphasis on the age of the person, dies with, not from, dies with BS on the day she was due to get vaccine. Oh, how unlucky. Right. Now, was this genuinely the best picture they could get of this girl? Bear in mind, PA, I can't even think what PA stands for now, but it's a news agency. And they actually bought this image, by all accounts. Kind of looks photoshopped. Now, bear in mind, they always use really terrible quality pictures because they hope that you won't see their Photoshop. Wherever they've done Photoshops, I mean, normally if you mess with the lights and everything, the lighting, the hue and whatnot, you can generally pick up where they've added elements. Is this... So yeah, anyway, let's hear. Georgia Halliday from Portsmouth died at the Queen Alexandra Hospital in Hampshire City on Tuesday, having tested positive for the virus 4 days earlier. Her mother, Tracy Halliday, 40, said that Georgia did not have any known underlying medical conditions. She was going to have the jab on Tuesday. But because, now isn't it interesting, now they're trying to push it on to teenagers, that we're now hearing about all the teenagers that are dying without having to have a chance to be poisoned. Because she tested positive on Saturday, she was isolating. When her isolation period was over, she was going to get it. The day that she passed away was the day that she would have had it. Now, this mother, despite losing her daughter, is perfectly happy to talk to the press. When I'm curious actually when this girl supposedly passed, and what is the betting? They've got a GoFundMe up for her. We'll have a look in a minute. The day she passed away was the day she would... Right, Miss Halliday said that the GCSE student at the Portsmouth Academy first developed flu-like symptoms before she underwent the PCR test. That was her big mistake. If she never took that, she probably would have been fine, which gave a positive result, leading to her isolating at home. Isn't it interesting how I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the word psychosomatic. It means that if you believe something's going to happen, then it's highly likely to happen. Basically, your body believes what the head tells it. So if the head tells the body it's ill, the body reacts to getting ill. For example, not the most scientific study or anything, but I know that I could be around someone with a cold, and it is highly unlikely I personally will develop a cold. In fact, I believe I could be around 100 people with colds, and I will not pick one up. Just how it goes. Is that because I've got a super immune system, or is it just because I do not believe I'm going to get a cold? Yes. Now, there are people that do not necessarily believe that viruses spread in the same way, bacteria, for example. Bacterial diseases will pass. Things like, is it chlamydia or whatever? That kind of thing is a bacteria and will pass from one person to another. A virus, on the other hand, is something completely different. And people are suspicious of... people have for a long time questioned whether viruses can be passed from one person to another. Or is it a result of what you've put into your body rather than like the food you've been eating, your lifestyle? Is that what makes people ill? Why do people come down with, say, flu at the same time of year? Is that because when all you hear about is flu and people around you have got flu, do you then start believing you've got it? And that then opens you up for a case. I'm not saying that's 100% what happens. I don't know for sure, but yes, it's something I would ask, I believe it could be possible. Right. I'll have a look at the live chat. Let's see. Dan Sewell, the resurgence in both hospitalizations and deaths is dominated by those that have received 2 doses of vaccines, comprising around 60 and 70% of the wave respectively. This is on section 32 of the Roadmap to Normality in government website. I don't doubt that. Dan, in fact, I could give you a moderator status, which I have now. If you have any links you want to share, that would be great. Same goes for anyone else that wants a wrench and wants to share a link, by all means do. I do ask that we don't start censoring people's comments. I'm generally happy for people to write what they want in the comment section, with the exception of anything like doxing. If anyone's got a wrench and they notice people are putting personal information about others, then by all means delete the comment. But otherwise, let people share their views and thoughts, whether we agree with it or not. Right, Robert says, go to page 13 of the report and read the last sentence that begins with individuals in. We will do that in a minute, Robbo, thanks. This reveals the truth about the death figures. David says, all the facts on the government website, but the BBC won't show true information. No, of course they won't. And Mudlight says, we're still reading this about the 15-year-old, weren't we? Anyway, where were we? It's Robbo, and we will look at that report in a minute. Random Games, greetings, thanks for joining us, hope you are well. David, symptoms of Marburg virus. Got it. Right, yeah, we're looking at this person now. Apparently, what happened to this girl who, had she not been tested, who knows, basically, yeah, by the way, Ms. Halliday's said that Georgia's siblings were devastated at her death. I'm not sure if we know the exact day or time that she died, but the mother was clearly happy to talk about it. She said the preliminary results from the hospital's medical examiner indicated Georgia had COVID myocarditis. That's heart inflammation caused by the virus. Really? Or is this one of the many side effects to... Anyway, I'm not going to start spreading misinformation. Right, what was it Robbo suggested we look at? Dan Sewell, thanks for the link. We will have a look at that before we round out. Yeah, I will be finishing about 11 p.m. this evening, as I do. Yeah, I've got a bit of an early start tomorrow, so I will not be going too late this evening. Right, what was Robbo suggesting? Page 13, and read the last sentence that begins with individuals. We will do just that. Right, what page are we on? 12. Here we are. That's not 13 as well, is it? Okay, bear with me. So what individuals in? Where are we looking then? Page 13. Right, I'm looking for the very specific section you referred to. Is this the one? Let me check it's not on another page, sorry. Where are we? I'm sure we're there somewhere. Please bear with me just while I find this. Right, page 13. Individuals. The last sentence that begins with... I'm with you now. Got it. Where are we? Right, the rate... Is it this bit? No. The last sentence. Where are we? In the context of very high vaccine coverage in the population, even with a highly effective vaccine, it is expected that a large proportion of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths would occur in vaccinated individuals, simply because a larger proportion of the population are vaccinated than unvaccinated, and no vaccine is 100% effective. This is especially true because vaccination has been prioritized in individuals who are more susceptible or more at risk of severe disease. Well, not in this case, because everyone's had it forced on them. Individuals in risk groups may also be at risk of hospitalizations or death due to non-COVID-19 causes, and thus may be hospitalized or die with COVID-19 rather than because of. Well, interesting, that story we just looked at. The very headline was teenager dies with and not from. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Mudlark says it looks like a man with long hair. Are you referring? I'm guessing you're referring to this person. That it doesn't look right one way or another. A terrible picture as always. They always seem to share the worst possible pictures they could of this person. Okay, Dan Sewell has shared a link with us about section 32 of the Roadmap to Normality. I will open that one up. Let's see. I do not believe it's the page we're looking at yet. Summary of further modelling of easing restrictions. Was there a particular section actually? Yeah, Robbo, I hope I read the last sentence. Start on the third line up from the bottom. I believe we covered that. Am I correct? Page 13. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, individuals in risk groups. There we go. They don't die because of COVID-19. They just die with it, of course. And Dan Sewell was saying section 32. We'll have a look at this if we can. R in England. What does R stand for? I forget. Rate in England is estimated between 0.8. Right. Section 32. Am I looking in the right place? Here we go. Is this a bit? The resurgence in both hospitalizations and deaths is dominated by those that have received 2 doses of the vaccine, comprising around 60 to 70% of the wave respectively. This can be attributed to high levels of uptake in the most at-risk age groups, such that immunization failures account for more serious illnesses than unvaccinated individuals. This is discussed further in paragraph 55 and 56. If we can find those paragraphs. I'm not sure of the uptake in the very, in those, in the older groups. It does seem to me, though, that a lot of elderly people were. Paragraph 55 and 56, I'm curious what that covers. Who becomes seriously ill in resurgence? Figures 11 illustrate age and vaccination status of those hospitalised and dying over time in Warwick's central scenario. The top plots are absolute numbers and the bottom plots are as a proportion. Okay, some crazy graphs. Right. Mudlout says the head is too big for a 15-year-old girl. You're absolutely right. And isn't it a coincidence? Yeah, that's a very... Yeah, I personally... they don't say when she... It says she was going to get the jab on Tuesday. They can't possibly be talking about last Tuesday, can they? Who knows? Who knows? Okay. David, such a shame she didn't get the jab sooner or she would still be alive. David, who knows? That's the thing. That is gaslighting for you. They want us to believe that that their treatment will genuinely prevent people from dying. But as some of the information we've had shared from Robbo and Dan Sewell shows us, actually, in a lot of cases, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. Yes, I unfortunately do need to start winding down now, but I would like to share my huge thanks to Mudlark Digging Up the Thames, David, Susan Byrne, Robbo Max, Random Games, Dan Sewell, Linda Mack, Phil Wright, Susie Realize, RJ, anyone else I've missed? RJ, Phil Wright, did I mention you? If not, there you go. ZZ or ZZ commented earlier on. If you're still with us, thanks for your comment. I, genuinely hope you're able to come to a decision. ZZ says she was a nurse. She is a nurse, or they're a nurse, sorry, in the UK. They don't want the jab, but they have to earn money and are concerned. Yeah, it's a situation a lot of people are finding themselves in at the minute. But at some point, I mean, my advice would be to anyone in that situation, I mean, I'm not going to tell anyone whether they should or should not take any particular treatment. That is ultimately for you to decide what's best for you. But if it's something you don't want to do, I mean, let's say, for example, you believe that everything surrounding BS19 is just insanity, and you will not be part of that insanity. You know, you don't want to take part in the insanity, because once you dip your toe in, when do you pull out? At some point, you have to draw a line. You have to say, no, that's it. They're not going to bully me. They're not going to coerce me. They're not going to gaslight me into taking this treatment anymore, into going along with it. At some point, and that's the problem, I believe, for a lot of... That is how the government have been able to force this on us, because so many people are prepared to go along with it. So few people are prepared to... I mean, no, I understand if people, you know, are taking the vaccine for whatever reason, if that's what's right to them. I've got family members that have done it. But you imagine if everyone that was didn't trust the vaccine, you imagine if every one of them had refused to take it, they would have no power whatsoever. You imagine if everyone who was suspicious about BS19 refused to take a COVID test, what would they have? They would have nothing. And until we get to that situation, unfortunately, the government will always have the power. I massively appreciate everyone that comes on, joins me on this live stream and shares their thoughts. It's never too late, by the way. Even if you yourself, like I said, I would never advise anyone to take any medical treatment. That is for you to decide. But my suggestion would be, and as we heard from Jurgen Klopp earlier, this is Jurgen, he doesn't understand. He says, where was it? He does not understand why some people refuse the vaccine. For example, Jurgen Klopp's a Liverpool fan, so by his logic, he's a Liverpool fan. Everyone should be a Liverpool fan. Jurgen likes to wear a black top with a red Liverpool slogan on it. Everyone should wear it. If he likes it, why isn't everyone else doing it? No one's allowed independent thought anymore. But what does he say at the end? I'm not a doctor. I can't remember really talking to players and convincing them. Why? Because I'm not a doctor. No, Jurgen Klopp, you're not a doctor. You're a football manager. You're a sellout. So, yeah, basically, my advice, and that's all I can offer, and ultimately you have to come to your own decision, is how long are you prepared to let the government push you around? I understand when you've trained to become a nurse, for example, and here you are about to lose your job because you won't take part in something. I can understand why it's a difficult choice. Personally, I do not put my faith in government. I do not put my faith in my... You imagine any employer that would let you, that has so little regard for your health, that they would tell you that you have to take some experimental treatment if you want to work for them. I don't know how many years... you imagine someone being a nurse for 20 years, given 20 years of their life to nursing, only to be told, if you don't take this vaccine, as supposedly what we're telling you it is, we're going to dismiss you. It's disgraceful. It shows how little they think of you. But yeah, all I can say is all the best to anyone who finds himself in that situation. Right. I'm just going to have a look at the live chat before we wind down. Phil Wright says Mirren is a bloke. Phil, how far behind are you out of interest? We covered Mirren ages ago, but fair enough. I'm glad you're watching one way or the other. David says the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. Absolutely. Was it Adolf Hitler that said, if you want to tell a lie, make it big, keep repeating it, and eventually people will accept it? Random Game says correct, people should choose. I am definitely not taking it. You are right, we should all stand together and the government would stand no chance. Yeah, unfortunately the governments of all around the world, they've got their methods, they've got their spokesmen, their figureheads, their celebrities that will all keep tricking people. Susan Burns, smartphones need to go so that we cannot be tracked. This would be a start in standing up and saying no. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I do remember a headline. I'm just going to look at it. I probably covered it in a live chat. What was it? It was something to do with they were begging people not to delete track and trace. Delete track and trace app. But Susan, you're absolutely right. Look, is it illegal to delete the NHS COVID app? What is wrong with people if they're at a point now where they're asking this question? Of course, it's your phone. You can delete any app you want. You can throw your phone out of the window at any time you want. But this is gaslighting for you. This is the situation people find themselves in. They do not even realise they can switch off their phone. This headline here from the Express, you cannot delete NHS COVID app. Are they saying it's been baked into the firmware perhaps? I'm not too sure what this story is about. I'm going to have a look. Oops, wrong button. Okay. You can't delete COVID-19 app from your phone, even when restrictions lift. Boris Johnson has penciled in the June the 21st, by the way, this is going back to May, as the date that all restrictions on every day. Right, but those hoping they'll be able to delete the NHS COVID-19 app from their phone on that day are likely to be sorely disappointed. Hang on, I never installed it in the first place, so if you haven't already downloaded the app on your phone, you're running out of excuses. Nope, don't want to give the NHS any of my information. That's a good enough excuse, and that will last me till the day I die. The smartphone app, which is designed to track the spread of disease and warn people they've been in close proximity with someone who is infected, needs to self-isolate, has undergone a number of changes. Do you know, I've known people that were, it was just around the time that they were lifting the masks and all that rubbish, mandatory masks, and people were getting messages left, right and centre saying you have to self-isolate, you have to self-isolate. So yeah, Susan, you're absolutely right. People want to throw away their phones. Mudlark says, seems that high-profile footballers and managers keep spewing the agendas. I remember when they just played football. Yeah, good point, Mudlark. Very good point. Right, with that, I'm going to start shutting down. Yeah, but huge thanks to everyone who has joined us this evening. I massively appreciate it. I will be back next Sunday, all being well. So yeah, big thanks. Right, we are going to play out with another tribute video to the YouTuber Terrible Tim. If you're not familiar with him, I will put another link to his channel in the live chat. Bear with me 1 second. But yeah, let's see where we are next week. I mean, the problem we've had in life, well, particularly in what they refer to as developed countries, for example, is we've never really had to oppose our governments, particularly, have we? Right, Terrible Tim. I mean, maybe I'm talking rubbish, but it seems almost out of nowhere we've had to suddenly, yeah, it's come on us like a ton of bricks. Yeah, David agrees everyone needs to get rid of phones and don't get apps and play along with this madness. No, as I say, I've never installed the app. No one can force you to install an app. No one can force you to buy a mobile phone even. So, yeah, whatever. Okay, the video we're going to play out with this evening. Night Susan, thanks for joining us. Massive thanks to everyone who has joined us tonight. If I missed your comment, I apologise. I hope you'll join us again next week when I come back. Yeah, this is a video by the recently passed Terrible Tim. He was quite well known for some of his music videos, this being one of them. Mudlight says good night to you, good night to everyone. I'm going to mute my microphone now and end it there. But yeah, finally, thanks to everyone, and also thanks to Robbo and Dan Sewell for sharing links. If anyone wants a wrench and wants to be able to share any links with us, just let me know in the live chat. If I'm familiar with you, I will certainly give you one, no questions asked. Okay, thanks once again, thanks everyone for joining. I will be back next week, and yeah, this video is by Terrible Tim, and yeah, a tribute. David's just popped up with the Sarah Everard story is leading to something sinister. Do you know what? I did want to touch on that this evening, but didn't get round to it. Susan, don't forget to give a like. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate any likes, any feedbacks on my videos. So thanks for the reminder, Susan. I believe it does help my videos be recommended to other viewers. But I do appreciate the loyal people that I do have that tune in every week. So thanks, everyone. Right, I'm starting to babble. Is that the right word? I'm starting to go on a bit. So I need to say, right, thanks for joining, everyone. Good night. Have a great week. And enjoy this video by the YouTuber Terrible Tim, who sadly passed away in the last week, I believe. All right, take care, everyone, and thanks for joining. Where are we?
The brother man Bill is the brother living at the top of the hill. Da-da-da-da-da. The brother man Bill is the brother with the brother man Bill skills. Da-da-da-da-da. The brother man Bill got a bottle of brother man Bill chill pills. Da-da-da-da-da. The brother man Bill put the terrible Tim at the top of the bill. Da-da-da-da-da. Brother man Bill, brother man Bill, brother man Bill. Da-da-da-da-da. The brother man Bill, brother man Bill, brother man Bill. Da-da-da-da-da. 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 Brother man Bill promotes the show, you know the room is guaranteed to be filled. Da-da-da-da-da. So many people in the audience, I hope none of you people get killed. Da-da-da-da-da. The brother man Bill makes other producers look like they're imbeciles. Da-da-da-da-da. The brother man Bill makes so much paper, his face should be on a bill. Da-da-da-da-da. Brother man Bill, brother man Bill, brother man Bill. Da-da-da-da-da. The brother man Bill, brother man Bill, brother man Bill. Da-da-da-da-da. 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 alcohol still. Brother Man Bill, Brother Man Bill, Brother Man Bill. The Brother Man Bill, Brother Man Bill, Brother Man Bill. The Brother Man Bill is the brother living at the top of the hill. The Brother Man Bill is the brother with the Brother Man Bill skills. The Brother Man Bill got the bottle of Brother Man Bill chill pills. The Brother Man Bill put the terrible Tim at the top of the bill.